Councilwoman Hickey?
Good evening, everybody. My report shouldn't be too long either. I always feel bad sitting at the end here. First, I would just like to mention I was really honored and privileged to participate and walk with all the elected officials in Union County for the St. Patrick's Day Parade this year. The turnout was a little lower since it was so bitter cold out, but it was still such a beautiful parade, still well attended, and we really had an extremely enjoyable day. Being a trustee on the Linden Housing Authority, every single year we have a couple in town. I'm going to mention their names, Darlene and Bob Komorowski, who come to the Linden Housing Authority and work their hearts out for 2 days to prepare about 350 pounds of corned beef. I don't know the weight on the cabbage, carrots, and potatoes, but they just do an outstanding job. And being an Irish girl, I've never had a better corned beef dinner than theirs. So I just really, again, this year want to thank them from the bottom of the heart. I know how much it's appreciated by all. We had our snowstorm a week or two ago. I truly want to thank my residents. For the most part, many residents got their cars off the street. It's understandable that some people have more vehicles than they can fit out there. The hard part and we've been trying to address that each snowstorm, is people throwing snow back in the street. We've had police patrols coming around and finding people. The cars now on the main roads that are supposed to be clear are getting towed. My ward, the 10th ward's a little different because we have our apartments over there. We have to make sure that we have room for emergency vehicles to get down there. They leave their vehicles there, and they're entitled to parking spots as well. Lincrest Apartments does care a lot about their property. I have met with the owner. They also, you have to remember, they pay a lot of taxes in our city too for their residents to rent those apartments. And we have to give them the same respect as well as our homeowners and try to make everyone happy. It hasn't been an easy task over the years, but I've been chiseling away, and I made some progress after this last snowstorm, and I'll just keep trying until I get there. With that being said, I did have a lot of messages from residents in other wards. I don't know if it's because I'm out there a lot and always meeting people and talking to people, but I want you to know that on the city website, all of our emails, all of the council people's phone numbers, they are all on the city websites. I'm always willing to help anyone anyway, no matter what, but I just want to let you know, and even my phone number is on there, the same phone number that my children have, and that's the number that I give to everybody because that's the way I address all my calls, and I try to get back to all my residents as quickly as possible. I think I might have a couple residents who can attest to that are here right now. As far as the phone calls I did receive for the snowstorm, people go and park their cars in front of other residents' house so their side gets plowed. It's very hard. I wish there was something I can do about it, or they'll leave their cars there for weeks at a time. I want to let you know, when a car is parked in front of your house, once it is marked, after 48 hours, that vehicle can be towed. It's a matter of respect. I can't take care of things that are out of my control. I'm always happy to go talk to a resident, go talk to a neighbor, and try and resolve things on my own, because, we do have to live next to each other, and I certainly don't want any controversy between neighbors, that's for sure. So I will try my best to do that in a diplomatic way and get the point across. Let's see. Since our last council meeting, I left early due to a bomb scare. Okay, somewhat 10. Due to a bomb scare in the 10th ward. It was located at the condos, the landmark condominiums, and the apartment buildings. There is a deli, a Quick Mart right in between. It was a scary one that night. Things had started off that it was not a right thing, and it could be something possibly very dangerous. Again, it was a very, very cold night. You know, when situations like this happen, first of all, our first responders were fabulous. I have to give them that. And each time we have a situation like this, and it seems that as time goes on, times are changing, things are happening like this more often, and we have a couple more I's to dot and T's to cross. My issue in being liaison to OEM, Office of Emergency Management, I had trouble finding my residents. I had people from other towns Facebooking, where's grandma, where's grandpa, where's this one? I was told many of my residents were on the corner of Ross Street. I went there. This led up to about 5 hours of residents being out in the cold, bitter, bitter cold. I was able to retrieve them blankets and so forth through Office of Emergency Management. But then I found out a lot of my residents were also in 7-Eleven. And I can't thank the owner of 7-Eleven enough. He offered them food, drinks. There were people in there with animals, with babies. They just wanted to know what was going on. And I went in there, I apologized to them, I told them what was happening. We had some angry people that didn't understand, and I said, certainly if you want to take the chance of blowing up, because it comes to that point, our first responders want everyone to be safe. They want everybody to be secure, and we have to learn to have patience. But after discussing with OEM this issue, and Coordinator Hart, I think, also discussed with the Chief of Police, we did actually, a couple years ago, have an MOU in place. I said, it's simple as having a bus company on scene, because there are certain things you have to have intact as far as the Board of Health, first aid, police, when you have opened a center for residents and so forth. But if we just pull a few buses, if we don't know that it's going to be an hour or 4 hours to keep residents, whether it be hot or cool, hydrated, it's an easy way to make sure everybody is okay, less cost effective, and we all know where our residents are, and we can check on them. So I made sure that the MOU has been passed through our other coordinator, Kathy Colgan, and Coordinator Dave Hart, so we make sure that it is taken care of for the next emergency. The last thing with OEM is I heard last week, and it wasn't a rumor, it was something that was addressed to my resident, and they asked me about it. Obviously, when we do our budgets during the year, each department asks for different things, whether it's policemen asking for more police officers, firemen for more firemen. Well, some of my residents are being told that because Councilwoman Hickey asked for $90,000 for OEM, which I'd love to explain to everybody where that money is, that we will be unable to hire firemen. I just want everybody to know that this is not the case whatsoever. It has no effect on the Office of Emergency Management. The $90,000 that we had covered for emergency management, we probably will never even reach that amount of money. This is for volunteers. We've separated our volunteers from our public workers, city employees who would receive time and a half. We also have to remember that when we use our Office of Emergency Management volunteers, who will receive $15 an hour after they put 25 hours in, and they will receive a yearly stipend if they reach it for $3,000 a year, up to $3,000. This still is more cost effective than having police officers taken away from our streets, having police officers' salaries paid, and freeing up our first responders for our residents, our streets, and our emergency situations that they are trained for. So please, any questions, please don't hesitate to call me regarding anything that you hear or you may have questions about. I'm always happy to answer them. Lastly, ROTC this Saturday night is their last fundraiser. Unfortunately, our last fundraiser with San D. Vasquez, who has been such a leader for ROTC for many, many years now in our school. It's a Coach Pocketbook Bingo. I will be there supporting it as usual. I already have friends posting that they will be there too. Well, of course, we're sorry to see you go, Sandy. I'm hoping, I'm gonna try to wheel you back before next year. It's $30 in advance, $40 at the door. You can contact Sandy Perkowski at 908-338-6671, and they are now accepting credit cards as well. And I think that pretty much concludes my report. I hope everybody has a very good week, and thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.